That's scary.
There you go.
Press the button next to it on the left to stop the meeting when you've adjourned.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. So we are being recorded. We'll start at 6:01. So just want to have everyone call out their attendance, so we have that for record.
Roger Peterson.
Daniel Casey.
Larry Broody.
Joe Johnson.
Rich Shebbery.
John Rendon, Harbor Master.
Jay Walpole.
Kent Drusella.
And then Ellen.
Byrne. Charlene Zones, and we're the Cape Cod Community Rowing.
John O'Reilly.
John.
And I'm Dan Hall, the chairman. There we go. All right. So, first on the agenda is to approve the minutes of last meeting. Didn't have a chance to go over those. Any questions?
I'll make a motion to adopt the meetings as.
Second. Second.
Kent Drusella.
Jay Walpole.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous. All right. There's nothing on the consent agenda. Open forum. So we'll move right along to new business. We've got request for a special mooring permit for.
Did you want to do the financial report?
Yes, sorry about
Just
that.
checking there, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, no, good. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Financial report. Sorry.
Anybody need a copy? Or everybody have it? You want a copy? Okay, not a lot has changed. We're progressing, I think, very similar to where we were this time last year. We had a busy month with seasonal dockage. Seasonal dockage was, the final payment was due, and so it reflects, that big number of 253, the bulk of it, is indicated there. And now we're smack into mooring permits, and mooring permits deadline was the 15th of this month, so that is, that's been tracking. We had pretty much everybody on time. We'll have a few late fees associated with late renewals, but Michelle and Bill, they do a great job of reaching out and making sure everybody pays attention to those deadlines. So, but besides that, I think everything is tracking well. Visitor dockage is strong again this year. A lot of demand for slips for visitors, and it will continue. So, if there's any other questions about what's on the report, I can answer. Okay.
Yeah. Any questions? No. All set.
And then if I could ask, Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
Is there any way we could take Mr. O'Reilly out of order? Because he's going to go straight from here to conservation. And if
I'm at the end of the, I'm at the end of the.
Are you going to be okay? You're not in
Yeah,
a rush?
I'm
Okay, well then disregard.
I'll
Okay.
stay here and then go there.
Okay.
I'm gonna say the same thing when I see them.
All right, so we'll continue as follows. New business would be the request of special mooring permit, Cape Cod Community Rowing. So,
Very good. Sorry about that. Right. We are, for those of you who aren't familiar with us, we're a 501c3 nonprofit. We provide access for rowing, the opportunity for people to get out on the waters in the community. We operate out of we do that for adults and for youth. We have a youth program that the kids work towards competitive rowing and go off Cape with regattas. We are over on Long Pond Drive at the Harwich Beach, and we've been there since about 2015. So we are a growing club, and we have put together, we have safety programs and priorities and procedures, and we follow all the programs that US Rowing, which is the governing body of the sport, put out. The reality of the sport is that shells are tippy. Doesn't take much to flip one, and we have an expectation that you probably will. And for some of us, maybe many times. And but while we teach people what to do, how to get back into a shell, the reality of it is it's not that easy to do for a lot of people. And if there's a medical incident on the water, it can be a bit challenging. So we have a membership that is, I'll call more mature, large number of retirees. You know, the strength of getting back into a boat and getting going is one thing, but if you're hurt, it's another. So currently we use john boats, aluminum flat bottom john boats that, you know, we go out at the same time as our rowers. We ask rowers to row around the perimeter where when they capsize, if you can't get in, we can go to the shore. It's not always viable, sometimes you've got to cross. But this boat, we're looking to buy a wakeless safety boat. It's an 18-foot boat that would enable us to come right up alongside someone, pull them into the boat with ease, and administer first aid. And if we had to, if we had a bunch of rowers in the water, we could get a whole bunch of them at one time, again, with ease. So this, we think, is a really important safety priority, and we're looking for a special mooring in order to have it accessible to us. So that's the backstory on the what and the why.
Okay. No? Okay. We're gonna hear from John. Have you reviewed the?
Sure. Everybody's seen the letter that was in the packet. So if I
Yes.
can, Mr. Chairman, I have a few questions. So if this is approved and you go forward with your grant and you purchase the boat and you have a safety boat on site, will you minimize the 3 john boats that you currently have pulled up on the beach by the dinghy area?
We hadn't talked about it, but I
I would
think,
anticipate we would.
yeah, I would too.
I mean, this is going to take the place of
Yes.
some of that. So
Yes.
that's a positive in my mind. I think 2015, I guess you've been there. So that program has grown. And I think you probably would attest to that. And therefore, the footprint has grown there at Long Pond. So, you know, I've had some discussions last couple of years about, you know, the amount of space that these john boats they're just pulled up, and it's difficult for some of our permit holders to get to their dinghies because of these john boats. So I think that's a positive if we can reduce the footprint, you know. I am supportive of it. I think if special purpose mooring, according to our harbor management plan, is really for this type of boat education, getting people out there recreational wise to support water sports, and it's a perfect fit. It is something that the Board of Selectmen have to approve with my recommendation, with the board's recommendation, but it is, they control how many special permits we authorize. And so the next step, if this board recommends, the final approval would have to be with the Board of Selectmen. You currently pay the town to operate out of there? Can you explain that? Because I'm not real clear on that, and maybe the board should be.
Yeah, we pay $2,500 a year for access to the beach. We have equipment on racks on the far end of the beach they're all rowing shells that we have on these racks that we store. Our agreement is that we are on and off the water before the public comes to use the space. So we come in early in the morning at 6 a.m. and then sometimes in the afternoons after the permitted users from the town are off of the beach. We start rowing in The kids will start in April 8th. They're a little hardier than all of us, but we started April, May, and we'll continue until pretty much the end of October.
The youth program runs in the afternoons, after school.
After school.
Yep.
Okay. That's all I have.
I mean, is there room for another mooring over there?
Yeah, I mean, we'll put it essentially, if you guys know where Long Pond and where we have our patrol boat, we have it pretty much right in front of where the dinghy rack is. For us, it's quick access to get out there in case we have a case. We'll fit it somewhere in that area. So yeah, there'll be sufficient room.
Is this mooring tied specifically just for this boat, and say they get rid of this boat, does the mooring go away?
Yes. It's non-transferable. According to the harbor management plan, it's gonna be issued to the organization. If the organization goes elsewhere or,
Disband.
breaks apart or whatever, then the mooring goes.
Do they have, I don't know, do you have some sort of limit on number of boats out there? I'm just wondering about
Yeah.
safety of
Yeah.
power boats, not the people on the beach and
Yeah.
that stuff, but I mean, the pond gets more and more boats every year.
Yeah.
The balance.
Yeah.
And does this give you the opportunity with this type of boat to service more of your boats, and then you're gonna wanna increase your shells by another number of 1, 2, 3, whatever?
We're not
Is it
picking
just a
that.
thing that just keeps growing and growing, all of a sudden we got,
We only have so much room for boats. We're pretty much at capacity now. So unless we wanna take the rest of the beach.
so
pretty
do
much
you
where it's
have a
at.
limit on number of boats or the time that you can be actually physically on the water?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And-
so we have right now about 50 masters members. There'll be, not everybody's gonna come back. We have a lot of new rowers. We do a learn to row, and then some of them it's a one-time thing, and others will join and start to participate. Basically, the racks that we have and the footprint that we have is what we have worked with. And so there's only so many boats you can put on there. I think we own about 20 boats. We've had a lot of discussion about, our desire isn't to become gigantic. I don't see that in our future. At this location, could there be other locations in the future? I don't know, maybe. Our desire is, we have very specific rules on safety for how many shells, how many rowers can go out that's why we have the John boats, so we have a ratio. We're not gonna be able to increase that. That's just not only one, who's gonna drive it? Because we need people that are certified to drive a boat. We have a lot of issues around making sure, we just can't grow that quickly anyway, even if we wanted to. So our desire to have this is really about purely the members that we have in the safety.
Have you had any issues with, wakes from power boats and water
Sure,
skiers
yeah.
and?
Yeah,
Which
we
is
wear
important.
neon, which helps a lot. We keep in touch with the regulars that are on the pond, that are water skiers. We try to work with everyone. We're all looking for the same water, so we're aware that there are people that don't understand that, you come close to a rowing shell, even at just interest in seeing what we're doing can flip us.
Well, there's one thing that has changed on the pond, but it's on the Brewster side, with the Brewster Sea Camps no longer being down there where they were with the swimming area, and they would run those sailfishes and sunfishes for their sailing training and
Right.
stuff, which is kind of a little more setback cove area than the main body of the pond. I don't know if that's a better area for future.
Yeah, so,
'Cause
we
those-
are looking at a whole bunch of things, and we also, by the way, we both live on Long Pond, so we're familiar with some of the things that go on and the challenges around power boats and, simply getting out in your kayak and navigating around that. We are doing things like, silent weekends to be mindful of residents where no talking on the water because voices carry. Like I said, we have a pattern for our rowing, a buddy system, and ratios when there's groups out to have someone in a launch or certainly to stay together. So we have a number of safety procedures, but we also encourage staying close to the edge. We try, unless you have to go across, we're not out rowing in the middle of the pond. We stay.
Are you going from end
close.
to end? Are you going from 124 to?
We're going from end to end, but we're going in a pattern around the pond.
Has there ever been an issue at all time?
Excuse me, no, there haven't been any response issues, safety issues that we've been involved with. Obviously, I've received a few phone calls about noise, about, they have access to, also early morning, there are some jet skiers who like to get out there because it's flat calm, and so now they're having to be mindful of the rowers, and so we've gotten some of those calls, but nothing that has grown into a significant issue, I would say. So.
I just don't know if this afforded them a chance to get bigger and bigger.
Yeah, well, that's why I say, I mean, the footprint of the club has grown, but like they've said, if they stay in that corner, there's not a whole lot more room to grow, and I don't expect Eric Beebe, who is the recreation director, who really is in charge of, the program from the town side. I can't imagine he's going to allow it to grow much beyond that. So, but anyways, yeah, I think they do good stuff. I think it's a great program. Minimal issues from my perspective, and I think it'd be a good thing.
Is this like the boat you see up on the Charles? Is that what you're getting?
Yeah. So we have singles, we have quads,
Yeah.
we have eights. The kids do
I meant the safety boat. Is that
Oh,
the?
the safety boat,
The safety
yes,
boat.
yes, there's tons on the Charles, you'll see.
Yeah.
I actually rode way back in school
Oh,
on an 8.
This is the kind of, that's the kind of boat that
Yeah.
18 foot, it's the smallest footprint we can get of that nature, and that'll allow us to bring people right up onto the boat and not have to get them over the edge of a john boat.
So does anything have to be said about eliminating of the existing?
Well, I mean, I think you can certainly put it in your motion if you like. I think it's something that we can work on. I don't think all three of them have to go, but I think certainly that footprint needs to be reduced.
I mean, that basically will be the coaching vessel, and then there's always the assistant coach. So we need at least one other on the water.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Go, Roger?
I got a question. I was gonna make a motion
Please.
to accept the proposal as written.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous. All right, you're all
Thank
set.
you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You hear a lot of good things about
Yeah,
the club, yeah. A lot of kids.
We're very happy to be there, so.
Yeah.
We want
I
kids.
know a few
so-
kids that
Yeah,
are in it,
kids out
and
there.
a lot of, that's all they
great.
talk about.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, you're one responsible.
My son was a rower.
I don't think we should approve anything that people are gonna have fun doing.
That's gonna help the community at all?
Yeah.
Sound like a lot of exercise.
Yeah, it sounds exhausting.
Can
I
we,
didn't make many
I'd
copies.
like a motor.
Something I could
can we get a pickleball court at Long Pond?
Floating.
There's-
No, it's not
Maybe
a
you guys
plan,
can share,
that's
there's
just
a
their-
larger
their
portion of the plan and
write-up.
then kind of an explanation. I've got a few copies here.
But this All right, so we're gonna move on to proposed dock, 42 Pleasant Lake Ave.
For the record, I'm John O'Reilly, engineer for the client. This is a small little property. The owners actually own property across Pleasant Lake Ave. There's probably 4 or 5 lots like this sandwiched between the bike trail and the pond. So we're proposing a seasonal dock. It's a prefabricated aluminum structure with a total of 11 8x4 sections. And they're 80 feet out from one end to the other. And we do have a 96 square foot landing at the end, 8x12. These are supported by pads that will rest on the bottom. There's no dredging, there's no jetting. The structure will be taken out in the fall. And although we show off-season storage, in talking with Amy, they're gonna ask them to move it across the street to their own property. So we'll be revising the plan, but the dock will stay where it is. As far as the location where I came up with, the property to the north, up against the Herring Run, has an aluminum dock, went through an approval back in 2015. They have held their dock 25 feet from our northern property line. And based on your guidelines on separation between docks, I kind of followed suit here. I pushed our dock to the south side of our lot, 25 feet from the southern property line. I have just under 4 feet of water at the end of the dock. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, for the harbor master?
Sure, thanks, Mr. Chairman. So I did a site visit with John last week, I think. He had it marked for me, and yeah, I mean, I think it goes out, extends out 70 feet from shore, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and then it's made, the float itself is made up of 3 sections of the, right,
These
okay,
are all prefabricated units. They'll sit up above water. There's no quote unquote float
right.
associated with this dock.
So they all have feet that
They
sit
all have
on the
feet.
bottom.
They all stay stationary. They
Right.
don't rise.
Right. So, I mean, as far as compliance with our wetlands independent structure guidelines, he's in compliance with it. It's a big footprint that these guys own, so I don't see any conflicts or any issues with abutters or,
Setbacks.
yeah, so I have no issues whatsoever with, I was gonna ask about storage, but it sounds like you asked that question, so the conservation's gonna have them take it across the street.
Amy had 2 comments. One was storage.
Okay.
They've been requiring all seasonal docks to be stored beyond the 50-foot buffer.
Yeah, and that's across the street, because that's
That's
right
across the
off.
street.
Yeah, that's right on Route
In
24.
fact, all of the docks along this section of Pleasant Lake have the same type of condition.
Yeah.
They don't always follow it, so it's more of an enforcement issue
Yeah.
that Amy's dealing with, but we'll agree to put them across the street.
Okay, okay. Yeah, so I don't have anything else to add.
What's the reason to go out 70 feet when the others are 50?
Just to get the depth.
Okay. You can't
I
dredge,
think
right?
you're,
I'm not dredging along the
Why not?
I think your limit, I think, is 3.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you do have seasonal fluctuation of the pond, so it was a round number, and I feel pretty comfortable with it.
There are no public moorings in that area. We have some, little bit to the
South,
north, right?
north?
North,
South.
Brewster, right?
North.
Yeah, towards the Brewster side.
Oh.
But it's only a few on that west end. So any moorings that were there are approved private property moorings, so I don't see any conflict with mooring fields, so.
Didn't in the past, we have the natural resource make give voice his opinion, I don't know, if needed here or not needed?
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't available for the site visit and he wasn't available for tonight. I had a conversation with him about it. He didn't have any concerns, so, yeah.
Any other questions?
Yeah, this is all.
I'll make the motion.
Make a motion, yes.
Yeah, make a motion to, accept the plan as shown.
You need a plan number?
Plan number here,
Job number is 9545.
JMO 9545 for job number. Shown.
Not to be a stickler, but are you gonna change this plan for conservation? So you said, so is it even, what's that?
We can give you folks the revised copy.
Well, that's what I would say, like, is it even worth us approving a plan that's gonna change?
Well, it's just it's just the storage, not the dock that's changing.
Yeah.
The change in the plan is to state it's gonna be stored across the street.
Yeah, I mean, my point would be, we're really not the final approving authority on this. Conservation is, so I think we say recommend
That,
approval of plan, proposed plan dated such and such, and then it might
they
change,
change
but
it.
it's not really reflective of anything that we have.
yeah, as long as the float doesn't change, that's,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what our concern mainly is.
I mean, if you wanna be a little more comfortable, you can put a condition that the storage be across the street. That's the condition that's gonna come from conservation.
Like John said, it has nothing really to do with us, so I was more.
Yeah, it's a good point, though. I mean,
Do we wanna add that, or?
I can add it to the motion that, with the one caveat that the, final plan will show the storage for the docks, as off-season storage would be across the street of 124 on the property of the owner. Outside of the 50-foot buffer.
Love it. I'll second that, Kenny.
That's more words than I said in a long time.
In a row, too.
All right, we're gonna take a vote on it. All right, all in favor?
aye.
No opposed? All right.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Well, we're gonna sign, we gonna sign,
Yeah, you should take a signed copy with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you could. While you're-
You wanna sign this one?
I think they're signing that one.
that's all right. All of those came out.
Do I sign this, Dan?
Yeah. One that writes.
Get it working.
Do you want us to sign one for your records, John, or?
We should probably,
Yeah.
yeah. We usually sign
Yeah,
two.
yeah, that was the second one, so.
Well, you may as well sign this one since you got the pen.
We forgot.
Okay, is that the second one? or-
First one.
That's the first one.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you are. Thank you. You bet.
You too.
Yep.
Yeah. Don't tell them what I said now.
It's all on record. All right, there's a second one. Yeah, huh?
Whose pen?
Mine.
Okay, thank you.
All right, well, that confirms, or done with new business. Old business was the Waterways Committee charge. Everyone get a chance to look at that. Anyone? I didn't get any responses, so I assume we're gonna go with what was written.
Yeah.
So we can, I mean, I think what we're looking forward is just to voting on that tonight from the last meeting.
Somebody else has got it.
Yeah, so we'd like to get a motion to accept the Waterways Committee, new Waterways Committee charge. Anyone would like to,
I'll make that motion.
second, anyone?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous? Waterways charge has been updated.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you,
Let's see. No monthly reports from the Board of Selectmen. We have the Harbor Master Board,
Everybody should have gotten my monthly report.
monthly report.
Anything to highlight here? We had to replace a broken pile in Saquatucket. One of the commercial boats knocked one of our Greenheart, big 50-foot Greenheart pile and broke it. So that was, had to hire Robert Hour to come in with their barge and crane and had to get a new pile. And so anyways, that's done. Not cheap.
Who pays for that?
We do.
Wow.
But besides that, everything's going good. We've had, Michelle has been busy filling open slip and mooring permits. We've had some good turnover, which is always good, both moorings and slips. So, and then of course, final dockage, we were busy getting that all in, and now final mooring permits on the 15th. And then of course, the 1st is all the waterway user fees. So this is a busy time where we're just collecting and reaching out to folks to make sure they're paying attention to those deadlines.
Maybe you could fill us in on the guy with the new boat.
Catamaran?
Catamaran.
Oh, so yeah, we have a new D permit holder. As you know, Clem with Yankee 2 retired, and so his permit came open, and Len Greiner, who many of you know, he runs Magellan, which is a charter boat out of Saquatucket. He was up on the list, so he took that D permit, and he has a catamaran that was built down in Florida. He's authorized to carry, I think it's 40 or 42 passengers. And he's going to be doing harbor cruises with this. And so he's going to bring people on board and go through Saquatucket and Witchmere and the outer harbor. I don't think he's going offshore. And, it's just kind of a party boat. So we'll see. It'll be interesting. I think he's going to do well. I think he's got a little niche there.
Yeah, I think
people who just want to go out for,
so many
an
people
hour or
going
so.
to Witchmere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife wants to do that all the time.
Yeah.
Every time they're doing a wedding.
Right, to just
Yeah.
go in there and see things. And
Not get wet and just.
They should give out little handheld horns, Going by, everyone loves the horn.
So we'll see how he does. But yeah, we're excited.
By your
We're excited
house.
for him.
Go by your house.
Yeah, I'm not over there. I don't have to worry
So what
about
did
it.
they try shrink wrapping it, and during one of the storms it came off?
Yeah,
Oh,
with those heavy blows, it took it right off.
wow. Yeah, that was the end of that.
It was the end of that. But yeah, everybody's, all is going well. We're gearing up, starting to cut chain for our buoys and make sure they're painted and gearing up. Here shortly, we'll start putting channel markers out. So boating season is upon us here. You wouldn't know it by the temps, but it's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For seasonal help, you're full, or you're full staff?
No, we're reaching out. We need one more. We had one of our guys, one of our older gentlemen in the evening watch isn't coming back, so we're going to try to hire somebody. So if anybody knows, anybody who's interested working at the harbor, I'm looking for somebody to work 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday shift from 12 to 7. And it would be more of an office position, but also getting them out on the docks or her on the docks. And so, yeah, we need a person if anybody knows of anybody looking. Okay.
So party times between 12 and 7, huh?
12 to 7.
Keep an eye on you, Dan.
Yeah, someone has to. All right, well, thank you very much.
Anything on dock? I mean, Herring River, is that finished?
The Wixon dock?
Yeah.
It is finished. I have to put some signage up, and I met with Harwich Police on site. We're looking at kind of how do we put signage to try to organize it a little bit. As you know, it's a small footprint, so there's not a whole lot of parking. But if you haven't seen it, you should go see it. It looks good.
Yeah, the only concern I had was, not me, but my neighbor.
Yeah.
Was that the walkway for the boats?
Yeah.
It's kind of narrow to bring it, you could bring a dinghy through the middle. It's gotta go over the rail.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know why it wasn't a little wider.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
if
just for a
you,
dinghy.
I mean, really, you're bringing like kayaks and canoes, which should be plenty of room. If you're going to bring a dinghy
Just,
to the dinghy rail kind of thing,
yeah, you know, my brother brings the dinghy down.
yeah,
You gotta throw it over the rail.
he brings it over every time he comes.
No, it leaves it there on the beach.
Yeah, I mean, one time over, you just get somebody to go out there and help him, Joe.
He's
Pick
bigger
that
than me.
dinghy up.
I tell him what to do.
See, problem solved.
That's the only thing the old.
You want your cake and eat it too?
He's an engineer, what can you do?
Yeah, well, tell him to re-engineer his thoughts. I'm kidding. You know, we
looks
try to
nice.
do it.
It looks nice.
Yeah, I think it's good. And we had in mind people bringing kayaks and canoes because they don't leave them there. They put them on their truck. But if the dinghy, you know, most of them just leave them there on the rail. One shot deal. Yeah. Okay.
All right, anything else? So,
Make a motion.
make a motion to adjourn?
I will.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.